and he does. In time, 20 seconds left. You're about to make the biggest play of your career.
And they're all just trading left, right, center. The Echo with the yokai trying to stop the fuse, and it could go down. Corza with the top angle. Martin, 20 seconds. The fuse on the ground. Corza finds one. Can he cut it down? 15 seconds. Can he find? Kills it easy. Sees the player on top of that. 51. Not a man. They have to get the kills here. They have to stop someone.
Hello, and welcome everyone to the second day of the SSA Super Series playoffs. There's a lot on the line for a lot of big teams. We have some action-packed games coming to you today, and for the first time, no load-shedding impedance. So this is straight action, straight. What do you even call this? This is so much that we haven't seen. Alpha Sub, how are you doing there? No, other side. There we go.
There. So, how are you doing, Jacques? I'm feeling great today. We had some spectacular gameplay yesterday, especially one of the highlight games of the whole tournament for me, Levitate in point 1.
Yeah.
I think that was extremely unexpected. Yes, Levitate winning it out, I predicted that. What I didn't predict, though, was the struggle to do it, and the fact that point 1 took it all the way to the third map, and winning on Villa, which is, yes, historically not a great map for Levitate, but yeah, still, it was some great Siege to watch. Bit of a highlight of the tournament, in my opinion, but so far throughout the tournament now, Exhale confirmed, Levitator confirmed. That's our 2 of our confirmed teams for the LAN. Gonna get 2 more today.
All 4 on the LAN coming up, and here, one of the favorites to head into the LAN, it's Nixuh. Let's look at their lineup here today. I don't know if the observer's pulling that up.
It is fully pulled up.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Nixuh lineup. What can you say about these guys that the community doesn't really know? You've got Drop Shot.
No, definitely not. They definitely don't know this lineup.
Yeah, they definitely don't know the lineup. You've got Drop Shot. You've got Sandals, Kaiko, Bigger, Fish, and then on the sub role we have had Ergo once or twice throughout the tournament. What's not to love about this roster? It's flashy. It's got the mechanics. It's got the strats. What's not to love?
What's not to love is the caster absolutely simping for a team. I'm going to call you out on this every single time. I am sorry. But yeah, I mean, like, even though you might be biased, I think the entire community is biased towards this team heading into this matchup because it's Nixuh, because it is the lineup of players that have won tournaments, that have won cash cups, everything. The highlight player for today is going to be Drop Shot. I'm sure you are happy with that highlight. 1.67 KD thus far this tournament. He's been showing up, and he's showed up in the past. Honestly, compared to what we've seen from him before, this is like not even his prime.
Yeah, this has not been his. We haven't seen what he's truly capable of. We've just seen little flashes of it so far in the tournament, and still, the little flashes have still been impressive. It's just the reality of Drop Shot. For the people that don't really know him as well, he does take a bit of time to get into most of the matches. He normally starts off a little bit slow and then builds up his pace during the match, especially on a day like today where I'm pretty sure he's been asleep until 5 minutes before now.
Yeah, no, quite literally. I remember during the ROG Invitational, teams were complaining that they had to play so early in the morning, and it looked like Drop Shot literally was taking like an hour to wake up during the game. Like he would get like barely any kills the first map, second, third map. This man would be fragging his mind out. But before we simp too hard for a certain team, we have to look at a team that could prove to be the biggest upset throughout this entire tournament and shut down one of the favorites. It's Vdrxp.
Yeah.
Now, these guys are hot right now. They've made it into playoffs, but what do you think their chances are with this lineup?
Oh, Vdrxp are very hot right now. What's interesting for me with them is that before the tournament, we thought they were for sure going to be getting onto playoffs. Then suddenly in the group stages, they weren't looking so good. It was looking very much like on the cusp of where they were even going to get to playoffs, but now it's looking good. It's a roster that it's a bit newer, but not too new. It's just had a couple small tweaks and changes along with an org change, but man, is it an all but gold roster. Yes, they don't have maybe the tournament's results behind them, but everyone who has been a top tier team in the scene knows who this roster is. They've scrimed against this roster. They've played against this roster. They've seen this roster dismantle strats in a way that I haven't seen other teams in the scene do. This roster is a roster that trains quite hard, and I will be very surprised if we don't see some good gameplay out of them today.
Most definitely. I mean, like, when you think about this lineup, it is complete 180 of what Nixuh stand for. Nixuh, sure, they have strats. Let me not discredit them. But for the most part, it is brilliant moves coming out from individual players. Whereas Vdrxp, a lot of the games we've seen, pure tactics. And we need to highlight Haroon here. He might not have the biggest KD, the best showstopper here, but he's been a clutch player. When there's a 1vx, he can clutch. When he's on the support role, he doesn't die. So
don't forget about Haroon. Okay, the thing for me about Haroon is that he's kind of an undervalued player in the scene, I believe, because if you look at it, he was there at Titan right in the beginning when Titan first became a roster. He was there. He was performing great. He showed up again for Titan as one of the subs, and when Titan needed a sub, he showed and he performed well during that time. He's got the skill that's needed. It's just a question of, can he out-frag his former teammates today?
You know, the way I think about it a lot of the time is there was this golden era for Siege on PC in South Africa, where a lot of the players and teams were making names for themselves, and there were just so many at the forefront that some players like this, like Haroon, were kind of forgotten about. So this might be the second golden age where he makes a name for himself.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Haroon, I think, is one of those players that got forgotten about. Same with Misflick on his team. Misflick's a player who, yes, he doesn't always go big and go flashy, but he gets the results that he needs. He does his job. He does it well. He leads that team well. But looking into it now, I do think the community has been realizing what we've been talking about now, because if we look at the social vote, it's quite a surprising vote.
What? What am I seeing?
52% of people are saying Vdrxp are going to be the winners of this match.
What the hell?
So clearly the community has been seeing what I think we've been saying about this roster for a very long time.
Yeah, but
it's
I
a
have
good
two
roster
questions here. Okay, one, Nixuh, let's not mistake it. Like, I know we meme that we are biased, but objectively, Nixuh is the favorite heading into this. The names of the players, the number one seed out of the groups, didn't drop a single map, whatever. Okay, Nixuh are the clear statistical favorites. But surely they also have the biggest social presence. Like, Nixuh is a big org. These individual players have big followings. So I'm really surprised by this vote.
Well, I think it's the thing that we've seen it time and time again in the scene. It's not the social vote isn't a very biased in terms of who you're friends with. It's genuinely, I think our scene is very good at identifying who's going to win and who's not going to win. And
I mean, G2 90% polls. We don't have that.
Yeah, we don't have that. But what is surprising me, though, still is that the community think Vdrxp's going to win. I'm not just saying this because of bias. I'm genuinely saying this. I do still think Nixuh is the better team. But this shows to me that Vdrxp, and people have identified this, Vdrxp is a good team and they've got potential to hit this land. Especially if players like Haroon and Misflick can show up today. There's potential. And it'll be a huge upset if they can get it done, though.
Well, let's see. Who do you think is going to win? Let's head over to the overall caster predictions, but let's just see, what did we all think heading into this game? I think we all predicted Nixuh.
Yeah, we all predicted Nixuh heading into this game, and it's not a secret why. For us, looking before the tournament even started, just when we were looking at the signups, we looked into it, well, they're probably one of the favorites to win it out all the way, you know, take it all the way to the grand final and maybe even win it all.
Yeah.
So to me, it's extremely surprising seeing not just how close the social vote was, but actually Vdrxp being in the lead of the social vote.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't chuck it down to anything. I pointed it out, like statistical favorites, and in my eyes, at least, social presence community favorites. So I hope and pray that Vdrxp can actually put something up, because I want a close game. But just in the back of my mind, there's this tiny fear, I don't know what to put it. I almost want to pull up the Dune tarot. What's that? If anyone knows the fear's the mind killer, whatever. Like, there's this tiny little thing in my mind that's like, if Vdrxp actually pull this off, this is going to be the biggest upset we've ever seen. So I hope and pray we could have that. I'm one for an upset, but I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, look, I think it'll be a huge upset if Nixuh aren't at that LAN. It's kind of that's a team which we said it from the beginning. We were expecting a grand final between them and Boolin, most likely. So if Vdrop manages to beat Nixuh, I think that team's really going to have some questions to ask itself about the roster composition and what they're doing there.
Okay, just in the meantime, I want to pull something up. Okay, now
Yeah.
social vote predictions. We said okay, maybe sometimes they actually vote for who they think, but I think when actual status is on the line with your vote, currently sitting on 95% on the Twitch poll for Nixuh.
That is true, but there has only been 6 votes so far on the Twitch poll. So take it with a grain of salt. It still needs to update. It's still going to be running for another 18 minutes there.
You know what? I only have 2.9k at in my bank at the moment of channel points. So with 1 to 10 potential what do you call it, like investment return, I'm putting it all on Vdrop.
All on Vdrop.
Yeah.
My friend, you're good. I'm sorry, but I think you're going to lose. You're taking a bit of a risky gamble there. I've got 11,800 on Nixuh.
Okay, you're one of those. Okay, well, we're trying to get the players into the lobby. We're still waiting on the map bans to come through. Do we have the maps that we're going to be playing on yet? Okay.
We do have the maps, I believe. Oh, no, never mind. They're going to be coming through in a minute, so we're just going to ramble a little bit more.
I mean, that's fair. That's what we get paid to do.
So, one thing I want to ask now, okay? If Vdrop does get the win today, what are you expecting for the rest of the tournament then?
I mean, Levitate, they beat out point 1 yesterday, but they kind of seem to struggle. I know there was banter on Twitter that it was strat saving. I wasn't able to watch the point 1 Levitate game, all things aside. But Levitate they're strong, but I don't think they're as strong as we wanted heading into this. XL had a stomper over game versus Regen. If Nixuh lose this, we're still yet to see Boolin perform against Memphis, but just instinctively you'd put Boolin and then probably Exhale or Vdrop on that final if Vdrop take this.
Yeah, that is true. And just before the map ban starts here, I've just received some insider information. Dropshot is still not joined any of the voice chats. So there's a belief, a current little suspicion that he's still asleep. And they might have to play with a sub. We're going to have to find out soon.
Dropshot, come on, man.
It's just some insider rumor that I've heard that's just been discreetly passed along to me.
The fact that you've heard this means they are actively panicking and are like, where is Dropshot? Okay, well, we're heading into the map ban phase. I don't know if we have the first one. There we go. It's Villa, banned out by Vdrop. An interesting one. Second ban should come through very shortly, but just Villa by Vdrop. Have we seen Nixuh perform on Villa as of late?
As of late, not that I can remember. Not that I can remember, but I think it's just a thing of Vdrop. No, they want to go to a map they're comfortable on. They don't want to sit in a situation where they're in a map which they aren't 100% sure of. And I think Villa's one of those maps where it's either you've got it or you're going to end up in a Levitate point 1 situation.
Yeah. Okay, so just in the terms of, just to give clarity to everyone, the format we're following is ban, 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 pick, pick, ban, ban, decider. So the next maps should be bans as well. That'll be bank taken off the boards for Vdrop. Nothing really too much to say about it just yet. I'm really looking towards those map selects because those map picks, I think where we're going to see something interesting. You said Vdrop, a team that are heavily into their strats, whereas Nixuh, they just kind of go at it. So
Nixuh so far from what we've seen has been a much more default playstyle, but with great player mechanics making up for the lack of in-depth strategy.
Yeah, well, let's see what Vdrop decide to pick then, because this is really their chance to throw something weird and wild at them. Instead, they throw Clubhouse at them.
I wouldn't say it's a weird and wild pick, but I wouldn't say it's a default pick either, because let's be honest, the players on Nixuh, Clubhouse is they all love the map so much.
Yeah.
But we haven't always seen the results out of them that we expect there.
That's fair.
So it's kind of one that you see, they've had a bit of a mixed result so far in Clubhouse. So Vdrop picking that makes sense to me. Oregon coming out, again, it makes sense to me. It's a more default map. You don't have to go extremely in-depth with your strats or anything. It's kind of, you can play it more default and really rely on mechanics to make up for a lack of in-depth strategy.
Yeah, so a cafe taken off as well. We have Clubhouse and Oregon, the second map picked out by Nixuh. The Decider is going to be an interesting one because it is either a map that you are very fond of or something I don't think either of us would prefer. I don't want to name it just for the sake of not cursing anything because I know you are very particular. And oh my Justin, we have a interesting series on our hands.
Okay. If there's ever been a match I wanted it to really go all the way, it's this one.
Yeah.
It's definitely this one. And the interesting thing to me is since Nixuh did the ban of ballet,
Yeah.
that means Vdrop, if I remember the format quickly, will be allowed to choose if they want to attack or defend on Theme Park.
Yes, Vdrop started first ban, so they're picking side for.
So that makes it very interesting to me if they can get to that third map.
As well, it means Knicks are heavily prepared for this because they could choose between Chalet and Theme Park, and they chose Theme Park essentially.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. Let me put it this way: I wouldn't expect the players of Nixuh to feel uncomfortable with Theme Park.
Yeah.
All of those players know Theme Park well. They've all got huge experience with wacky strats and pretty default strats on Theme Park. They know what to do there. It's just a question of, are they going to be able to cope with the fact that they have to attack first on probably the most defender-sided map in the game?
Yeah, I mean, you were one of the forerunners of the strategies evolving for SSA on Theme Park. You made a lot of the OG strats for the Titan roster. I broke them, what do you call it? Like, analyzed them way back when for the 80K Summer Cup. That's about like 2 years ago at this point. But I'm pretty sure some of these core players still remember those strategies and might rely on them.
They still remember some of these strategies, and even the guys who are former 80K, former Frantic 6, they'll remember the strategies from back then already. They'll remember, and even the guys who didn't play on Titan, if Dropshot says to them, or someone on that roster, like Kaiko, says to them, I'm going to go play Clash and roam with Clash, they'll know,
They're not going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah, they'll know kind of what the idea is. They might not have the exact same strategy, but they'll know kind of what the general idea is. And they'll know, okay, let's play around that cache. Let Kaiko give us the intel and let's go from it.
What I hope as well, though, is that Vdrop is prepared for this Theme Park.
Yeah, because let's be honest, Nixuh are a scary roster to see anywhere. Seeing them on Theme Park, what are you going to imagine? You're going to imagine double jump outs. You're going to imagine a roaming Clash that just falls back onto the site when she gets pressure. You're going to imagine an extremely lurking mute or vigil that's just lurking in a corner and waiting till you desuspect the flank. You're going to expect Valkyrie cameras everywhere, echo drones running around on the map. It is a crazy map to try and attack, which is scary until you think that Vdrop, did you remember, Vdrop are starting on the defense most likely there.
Yeah, and what you're also expecting is a hyper-coordinated attacking lineup, because that is what is essential for an attacking team to succeed on Theme Park. You can't be loosey-goosey, just go chase one or two far-out roamers. You need to be concise on your decision-making, on when you're going to hunt for a roamer versus when you're going to let him be. You need just a team that is well-oiled and communicating well, which I feel both of these teams have the potential to bring out. But as well, I just want to segue this into, I think we're focusing too hard on Theme Park because...
Yeah, we need to focus a little bit on Clubhouse as well.
Clubhouse and Oregon.
Yeah, Clubhouse and Oregon, the two maps we're guaranteed to see. There's no way that we can't avoid playing them in this matchup after now the map plans have been finalized. Clubhouse, what am I expecting to see? From Nix's side, I am expecting to see more of an SSG style roam, maybe not completely with the hatches opened up, but extending the roam out a lot.
Yeah, and
it's a playstyle that suits them.
We don't have this confirmed, but Vdrop picked Clubhouse, so you'd assume Nixuh would want to start defense on there?
I would assume Nixuh would want to start defense, yes.
Okay, yeah, we've had confirmation. Yeah. It is.
Yeah, so we just confirmed in our ears, Nixuh will be starting on defense on Clubhouse, but Vdrop did beat Levitate 7-2 on Clubhouse.
I mean, wait, Nixuh beat Levitate?
No. Was it Nixuh or Vdrop that beat Levitate 7-2 on Clubhouse?
Yeah,
It was Vdrop, my
it
apologies.
literally cannot be Nixuh because
Yeah.
of the groups. But
Yeah. So Vdrop beat Levitate 7-2 on Clubhouse. Was it another fluke like we saw yesterday with point one and with Boolin, or was it genuinely we saw what we think we've been seeing, what we've been expecting to see out of Vdrop is where we expect to see a team that's extremely capable when you give them the right maps?
I think it's the latter. I really think this team has the potential, and when a map pick goes their way, that they can show brilliance. And that's what I hope to see. I mean, Nixuh are the absolute favorites heading into this. I think if Vdrop can take the first map off, them having the quote-unquote advantage of the first pick map, if they can win the first map out of a best-of-3 series, it might shake Nixuh to their core. It might mean the difference between a 2-1 and potentially a 2-0 for Vdrop.
Yes, some more inside news has come through though.
Has he woken up?
Oh, he has woken up.
Okay.
He is there. He's in the lobby. Well, not in the lobby yet, but he is in the team chat.
You know, my reaction earlier was, oei, Afrikaans people, you know what that means. It's just an expression of, oh no. When Justin mentioned that, okay, he hasn't potentially woken up yet, because this is kind of a recurring theme for Dropshot. There have been so many games in the past where this man shows up late. I mentioned it just in the past by, but ROG Invitational, we waited and we waited for this man to show up. Okay, he's awake. At the very least, he should be able to join this game.
For the people that don't understand, okay, I'm going to give you some backstory from way back when I first met Dropshot. He had and Shawl, if you watch this again, I don't feel bad for exposing you. You deserve it. I love you, but you deserve it. But he has a bit of a habit of waking up with precisely 2 to 3 minutes before the match is meant to start.
Gotta get that beauty sleeping, bro. Don't flame the man.
I'm not flaming the man. I love the man, but yeah, it's one of the little irritations when you're in a stressful situation of a team and you're trying to work with a team and get everyone in the lobby, and then the one player just hasn't even woken up yet.
You know, some players, they play T-Hunt for 2 hours prepping for a game. Some players, they just need their sleep, man. And sure, it puts stress on everyone else involved. I'm sure you have felt that as the previous coach of a team consisting of Dropshot. But let the man be. If it works for him, it works for him.
It works for him, yeah. It works for him. That's why I don't really complain too much. Sometimes, yeah, in the moment it gets very angry, but it works for him. He gets the job done. And to be honest, I'm going to expose a little bit here. There's only ever been one situation where he slept through a map.
Oh no.
It's only been one incident ever in my entire time that I've known him.
When was this?
This was back when we were in OG.
Okay, I think I do remember this game.
Yeah, it was back when we were in OG. I can't remember who played in his place. I think we got Hansi to play in his place.
You know, I really want to write a short story, like a hit piece on SSA Rainbow Six and like the inner workings, with Dropshot as a highlight, with all the weird circumstances this man has played from, whether it be
playing on 3G internet.
Yeah, no, I really want to try and make a tiny piece about that.
There's a lot you can go on. There's been extremely weird matches, and it's not just with Dropshot on them. You can look at throughout the whole community. You've seen weird situations. Just last night, I'm not gonna go too much into details for the squeamish people, but we did have a bit of a interesting development with one of the players in the point one lineup.
DM me what this was later.
I will DM it to you right now, just so you can get the information.
Okay, while we are going on one of the weirdest tangents we've ever gone on, the players are almost ready. We're waiting on one of them. It is not the aforementioned player. It is one of the Nixuh players, but we're not going to throw shade. Okay, and just bringing it back to what we've said, what we've saw, everything. Vdrop, it's their map pick first on Clubhouse. After that, it's Nixuh's map pick on Oregon. If it goes the full way in the best of 3, we're going to Theme Park. If you're just joining in, well, you've joined in at the right time. This is the biggest clash of heads, the biggest potential upset for the playoff stage of the SSA Super Series to head into that LAN with everything to play for.
Yeah, everything is to play for. For the people that haven't been really following so far or listening to what we've been saying so far throughout the playoffs and the group stages, there is no losers bracket here.
Yes.
So when we talk about there being an upset at this particular match, there really will be an upset, because if Nixuh doesn't win this, that means they're not on the land at all. It's not like they have to go through some really difficult bracket to get there. They don't have any other opportunity. So, and it's the same for Vdrop here. So I think that's why as well, when we look at that match yesterday between Levitate and Point One, I'm going to keep going back to it because it was one of the highlights of the tournament for me so far. It shows just how high the stakes are and how hard the teams are really pushing to make sure they can try and get to this land, and just how much the pressure is actually really on.
A win books your ticket, a loss throws you out with all of your dreams. It's a tough reality. It's a reality check a lot of players need, because I can't remember the last time we had a single elim tournament. I literally cannot. The playoff stage sometimes is kind of a single elim, but that's still with a lot less of a
Yeah, the last one I can remember was from before I started coaching.
Yeah, so there's always been this, I don't want to say latent mentality from coaches and players, but this tiny thing of, okay, you can get one loss and that's kind of fine. But right now, you cannot lose. You
No.
cannot.
The stakes are at an all-time high, and and it puts pressure on the players. The players know this pressure. I don't really think the players in Nixuh feel the pressure, because they feel like they've been in high stakes situations before. They've been through lower brackets where they had to go through impossible stuff, do full lower bracket runs. We've seen it out of multiple players in the roster. So Vdrop will be feeling the pressure a little bit more today, in my opinion.
Well, without further ado, everyone is in the lobby. It's Clubhouse as our first map. This should be the start to one of the best of three series we have seen in ages. Ready's in chat. Yeah. It seems one of the players needs a few seconds just to start up Moss. That's understandable. We don't want anyone with some strange things being found on their PC. But
we don't want no 4 going off anywhere.
You know, even in like my real life, whenever I see the digits 444, I'm like, oh, come on. There's this pure fear of those numbers it brings to me.
Yeah, a bit of a controversial number, shall we say, within the whole Siege community around the world. But yeah, Brady's have come out in chat, so it looks like we're going to be all good to give it a good go here. And yeah, it should really be a good match. For me, this is one of my most anticipated games of the group stage so far. I mean, of the playoff stage.
Yeah, I was actually more excited for the Levitate versus Point One game, just to put things aside, because I thought there was a chance for Point One to put that upset. Whereas here, I feel there's a chance, but a lot smaller of a chance.
Yeah, a lot smaller of a chance. Well, I wouldn't say it's a lot smaller of a chance.
I would.
Yeah.
Okay, well, all things aside, we're heading into Clubhouse. The bans, what are we expecting? This is a hard breach orientated map. This is a map that's been in the psyche of every Siege player at some point in time, because it is one of the oldest in the map pool right now. Surely a Thatcher, surely some secondary hard breach.
Well, one thing that was interesting that in the community started happening a little bit, I think unfortunately it died off before it could really become the mainstream, is that a lot of teams were starting to practice Hibana bans on this map. And there it is.
Okay. The previous Zeitgeist being brought out. Okay, surely a Thatcher ban to follow that through then?
If I'm Vdrop, no, I would leave Thatcher in, because if Hibana's gone, your job's difficult enough. You keep Thatcher in for that. Thinker going out makes sense. Nades are gone, get rid of the utility. Keep Thatcher in. You're starting on attack. The Hibana ban, the reason that the teams were practicing it and why we started practicing it back then already is because we realized that attacking on this map, teams were extremely reliant on Hibana because she's the queen of hatches. If you're bandit tricking, she's really good at dealing with bandit tricks or cave tricks. And she opens up a lot of angles that you need, especially when you're trying to deal with multi-level stuff like trying to clear rafters whilst opening your main hole and trying to do roam clears. So by getting rid of her, it also not guaranteed, but made it more common that Thatcher would be in play. And I'm really loving that today.
So I just want to quickly mention, this might be a very minute point, but I feel like Nixuh kind of played into the hand of Vdrop with this ban phase, because Vdrop are starting on their attack. And
Yeah.
they started out with the Hibana ban. That is something they would have prepped. Nixuh now would have prepped. But it leaves the second attacking ban over to Vdrop, where Vdrop are starting on attack. So obviously they would want to ban in their favor. They end up banning the Thinker, which is one of their default bans throughout the entire group stage. But equally, it allows them the chance to leave Thatcher. And Thatcher, well, he just shuts down every single piece of utility you can throw at him. This kind of sways it to the attacking side for me, especially with these defensive bans.
Yeah, look, banning Hibana, it's going to change the way the map gets played, though, because yes, you've got Thatcher, but if you want to get all the hatches open, you're going to have to run a ridiculous amount of hard breach, because Ace can only kill, realistically open one hatch. But what does help now is that the attackers can completely change all their operators during the prep phase, but I don't think they'll be changing anything up for this round, specifically because we've got the good old classic and favorite CCTV.
Yeah, it's the one we all know and love. Garage walls being reinforced, but I want to focus on the stacking lineup because you've got the Flores, and that's about it. That's about the only interesting thing. But it's an interesting thing nonetheless, because I can't remember the last time we saw Clubhouse in a major tournament before the SSA Super Series. I believe it was before Flores was introduced. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, we have seen Flores here once or twice.
Okay, well, it's still a big player, a big operator. So where does he drive these Roteros through? Oh,
well,
no.
Apparently he's going to have to maybe do some research about as to how Haroon died with one of those Roteros, because drop shot, he may have just woken up, but he's already starting it off with the one taps.
You know, whenever I wake up, I'm hazy, I wait for a bit, I'm like, oh, come on, can't I just wait for a bit? But no, drop shot starts with the high octane energy, shuts a player down at Strip Club. And I know sometimes we get memed on for simping to one player or another, but when you provide action to our screens like that, well, we can't help but do it. Drop shot with a great opener, shutting down Haroon, one of the clutch players we highlighted. The wall going open is a bittersweet victory for Vdrop, but that loss is going to bite them.
Yeah. How didn't we see that coming? It's drop shot, he picked Alibi. How didn't we see a spawn peak coming?
Well, there are some things that are written in stone and some things that, well, you just can assume even though you might not have any pre-knowledge of it. It's drop shot and spawn peeking. Those go hand in hand. But now shut down, they have a chance within this round at the very least.
Yeah, they maybe lost a rune, but Alex has said no to drop shot. Drop shot will only get away with that spawn peek in this round. A minute and 30 left, though. The main wall has been opened up, but of note, K being on the board means that they're not going to be able to get this garage wall open at the back.
Angle. I'm sorry to stop you there, but Fish is not checking his angle. He's not ready for the player, but he shuts down the Iana. Nonetheless, the drones come through. They feed the intel, but they can't feed a kill. You need a gun for that, and the SMG-11, it's a good one. Bandit skulking on up, might find a gunfight with the ace. Oh, but he wins it. How?
Kaiko. That was brilliantly played by Kaiko. Not quite sure how he won that. Fish does finally fall, though. You said it earlier, he wasn't checking the right angle. There was a bit, I think there was a slight, what's the word I'm looking for? Not hesitate, the opposite of hesitation, eagerness to follow that drone in a little bit, and it got this, the Iana killed, but there is a player sitting in the corner here, and the call hasn't come out, and Swap dies when he's pushing in, and Figure just keeps swinging, shutting down biometrics.
My face cam was on because I'm visibly face palming. You heard the Artilla Electroclaw being deployed at that very position. At the very least, I'm using the word very a lot, but at the very least, you check that corner because you literally heard a piece of utility being deployed there. I don't want to go on a tangent just yet. There is not enough for me to get worked up about. Let's keep it going, keep it calm. But Vdrop, it was all in your hands after that drop shot kill. You had the wall open, but it came down to funneling through a doorway, which is something you never like to see.
Yeah, that's something you never like to see. Drop shot a little bit angry about the way he died, I think, there. But yeah, one thing that's interesting for me to see there, I just want to take it back to the previous round quickly before we discuss this round. When Iana died there, I noticed the drone zipped past, was Fish. Yes, it was Fish. It like kind of zipped past his feet as he swung and got the kill into Iana. So I think Vdrop maybe need to dial it back a little bit, because I think they're being a little bit over-eager with following the drone in, and it got Alex killed because he didn't have enough time to react to the information that the drone gave him.
Yeah, I mean, surely. Well, okay. In the defense of the drone player, or just like kind of a counter argument, that is the spot you pre-fire when you're entering.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what you pre-fire as well. So there is a lot of things that mistakes that got there. Oh, this is an angle I haven't seen Dropshot use in a long time here. Doesn't net pistol kill though, but he's going back.
Oh, he's hungry.
Oh, doesn't find it though. Players of Vdrxp being all too aware.
He's still on the hunt, and he's been joined by Sandals. This is a big top floor drone coming out from Nixuh, and if they play this wrong, it might be something that really bites them, because now already Alex has shut down Kaito. I don't know if that was on the site or up top, but players are starting to fall, and they have map presence already. Sandals left up top to roam, to wander, but what can he find? There's no treasure for him to hunt.
Well, look, we were saying I was expecting Nixuh to be roaming quite heavily on this site specifically. We said it earlier. I was expecting not a complete SSG roam, but something similar to the style, where there's a big extended roam, players all over the map. It's what they like to do. Schwak, though, is just sneaking his way here down the dirt tunnel. Figure doesn't seem to be fully aware, neither does Fish, because they're still doing some renovation work on the site.
Valkyrie's been banned out. There's a chance they don't even have info that he's entered on into dirt. That's one of the big problems with an extension up top when you're defending down below as well. You can't focus too much onto dirt tunnel. He needs to take this gunfight, and essentially, importantly, he wins it. No more presence coming out from dirt. Now they can pivot and focus onto the main attack coming from these vertical angles, coming from kitchen. But equally, he's locked into dirt now.
Yeah, but Haroon knows his position. Fish narrowly escapes with his life though, so he's going to try and go for the pre-fire with LMG, but isn't able to get out of dirt. Bit of a bad situation to be in when there's a player sitting on the hatch. A drop shot is here on the... No, that's still Sandals, my apologies. He's still sneaking around the flank. He's just slowing down Alex and making it they can't push anything. Sandals, he's going crazy with the pistol, and he finds the first one. That's Haroon dead. Alex with the reposition though means it's going to be all down to drop shot and Figure on the side. Drop shot actually running with the shotgun.
There was one man behind the bar, and all he was serving was death. Only one kill though. The attackers still looking steadfast and ready. One push has already come from dirt, so they might not expect another. Equally, it's a sense. ROU throwables might be able to shut down angles, important angles at that, and guarantee a plant for them. The diffuser is on the hatch. The Hibana was banned out, yes, but they've gotten that open, and they can use it to their advantage. Drop shot though.
I just heard the one tap.
What? Where does that come from? 15 seconds left, they need to make a push happen, but the shotgun is going to shut them down at every single presence and every angle. How? Where?
I heard the one tap.
What? Why?
I heard the one tap. I wish we could get that clip. I'm messaging Dropshot right now to clip that. Wow. I wouldn't say that Vdrxp were poised to take that round, because they did have a situation of they were trying to had to kind of funnel in through a doorway and a hatch, but it was looking decent for them. They just had to execute, but Dropshot just hitting the one tap just kind of blew it all out the window and made it that all action broke down. Unfortunately for Vdrxp there.
Now, I wasn't going to go on a tangent in the first round because we haven't seen enough, but I just want to comment on this now shortly because I think there's been more evidence to support the point. One of the things we highlighted during the prep phase was Nixuh, frags, players, skill, everything, all adjectives to describe them. Vdrxp, slow, steady, tactics, whatever it may be, whatever you use to describe them. Well, one of the things that kind of hinder a matchup, a head-to-head between two such teams, we see it all the time. The team that has the frag potential kind of just win it in clutch situations. Yeah. If you are the team that's coordinated, steadfast, whatever, you need to have a big advantage during the first phase or late phase of the game. Otherwise, you might struggle against these players that can just whip their gun into your face and shut you down. So Vdrxp 2 times now, they have had a tiny lead, a one-man lead. The other, it was kind of 50-50. What we need to see from Vdrxp is bigger leads early on, or just the clutch potential.
Well, look, it's like we were saying, I think it was yesterday, me and Aldo were talking about it, is that what we saw out of, not Levitate, out of point 1 is they were doing their drone clear very well. But then in that last 20 seconds, they were just dying when they were trying to funnel their way into the site on the attacks. And that is the situations you were talking about there. When in those last 20 seconds, when it all comes down to gunfights, you're trying to force your way in. It's not easy when you're trying to play against the players in Nixuh, because they're the guys that they don't miss their shots.
Yeah.
So when you've got 5 seconds, only got 5 seconds, but Alex, within the first minute, gets a kill into Sandals as the roamer dead.
Yeah, so first phase of this round complete. One player died. It's on the side of Nixuh, and now the map presence is coming. For Vdrop, they've opened up onto the main wall, but that's not the site. There's an extension into cache, but there's only drop shot holding onto it. If they can find that kill, levitate that pressure, or no, pivot that pressure onto the main bomb site, there's a very good chance. First, though, they need to deal with Fish down below. I believe there's some intel feeding his position because the Buck is waiting and at the ready. The gunfight might happen. He doesn't check the angle. Drop shot from the side, I believe. No, that's Figure has found Bio, but Haroon shutting down Fish is massive. Drop shot now, feeling the pressure here on Cash. That's the next avenue, the next area of this map that they need to clear out. Playing with what he can, it's difficult.
He nearly went for the reinforcement there, but deciding after he got spotted on the drone to just rather run away with his life. Dropshot played that in very well, and this is not me simping before people say I'm simping. He refused to give up that area, even though he was getting pressured from multiple players in 2 different directions. He refused to give a nades coming through. He refused to give up the position, and he was even contemplating reinforcing that until he realized there was no way that he's going to survive that, and he just decided to walk out of there. He's left Vdrop with a minute left, and he's still alive. Well done. Good roam there. Unfortunately, Sandals died to the roam, and Fish died so the roam hasn't been successful, so I'd say Vdrop have maybe won this first phase of the round, but Dropshot clawing it a little bit back there for them.
Well, the problem, we highlighted it, is there enough to claw them across this line? Because Dropshot and Figure are alive, 2 of the biggest players in SSA, barreling on down you. Haroon and Swak lose their lives, and as I just said, it's as if I cursed them. They have a lead, but they just can't pull it through. Nixuh, and a very big part in Nixuh's defense, Dropshot, really well done on that round.
Yeah, look, it's not that Vdrop are playing this badly. It's literally the situation that they're having is they're sitting there they're having to do 20-second meta effectively. Well, not 20-second meta, but they're letting those attacks go down to the last 40, 30 seconds. And again, if you, especially on a map like Clubhouse, where there's only one site, well, 1 or 2 sites where you can directly enter the site without having to funnel through a doorway at some point, it's not a good situation to be in when you're trying to funnel through a single doorway against people who don't miss their shots at all.
Yeah, it's something you need to answer back to, because this is Vdrop's map, and sure, it's Clubhouse, it might be defensive-sided, but you need to turn that around. You're halfway through your attacking phase now. Nixuh have gone to 3 bomb sites, the 3 potential ones they need to go to. Just a quick update, it seems one of the players has a problem in chat. We're having a tech pause. We'll update you if we have any info. I mean, you should be able to see that in chat, but just Vdrop need to do something, and I think this accidental tech pause from Nixuh might be the chance Vdrop need to reel it in, to see what their problems are.
Well, look, the problem so far for me has literally been it's not the roam clear. They've been doing, yes, they do the body, but they've been getting the refrags, and you'll agree with me on that. It's more been the problems that they've been having has been more in those last 30 seconds of the round, in my opinion, than up to getting there. They've been doing the basics right until that last 20 seconds. It's just they've got to figure out how are they going to get in there in those last 20 seconds. Maybe bringing an Osa or a Monty might be the play.
Yeah, Osa's in play. They've used Sense before exceptionally well, just shutting down angles, denying info from the defenders. There are a lot of attacking operator picks that you can rely on for these types of situations. You mentioned the Osa, just put down one of the shields, punch it out, make it non-transparent, and there you go, get a plant down. We haven't seen a plant from Vdrop.
Yeah, it just comes down to in the last 30 seconds when you're funneling in. How are you going to get yourself in? Once you got the foot in the door, that's step 1 done. But you need to get step 1 done there.
I mean, they have the big step 1 done. They've gotten map presence, they've gotten early kills. It's just that last phase. So The operators are locked. It seems it's the exact same attacking lineup, and here we go. This time focusing on drop shot. He's got the Keratos 6mm. Can he do anything with it? He throws out one alibi Prisma, but I guess that's just to have the annoying opponent detected outside message.
Yeah. So that alibi Prisma that's out there, for the people that don't know, it's just going to be an irritation to deal with a drop shot. Where did he get that from?
Did he spawn peek from the construction window just onto the garage wall? Oh no, was that just a blind pre-fire onto the wall?
It might have just been a blind pre-fire, but he said, I've got a kill. That's not enough. I want more. I'm not leaving here.
Yeah, he's hunting for more. He's currently 6-2 in this game, and well, he's not stopping anytime soon. It seems Vdrxp, at the very least, scared. Haroon rolls on up, and he doesn't want to take the gunfight.
I wouldn't say that they're scared. I think it's more they just don't know how to approach this, because look, they started on that side, opening up the wall, and they found drop shot. Yes, they're still in that engagement there. That's wasting a lot of their time. They still need to get rid of him before they can even push the side. And Sandals is making his way up the stairs to try and support him now.
Sandals has opened up a way for him to rotate. He doesn't have the bailiff in hand, so he can't open up that hatch on his own. The impact comes from Sandals from the side to allow for the rotation, and Dropshot is escaped. 5 players still alive for Nixuh after a grueling minute 30 in this round already. Kaiko finds 2, shuts both down on the jacuzzi wall. Oh, Nixuh, they are just competing against each other because they're just competing for kills. It seems Vdrxp aren't even in the server.
When Dropshot's not the one getting kills, you've got Figure going crazy, or you've got Kaiko going crazy, or you've got Sandals just refusing to die behind the bar. It's just been a slaughterfest so far this round.
Yeah, he's playing for scraps at this point. 50 seconds, there's a chance he can clutch this out. Ooh, a good spray transfer onto the second. I said there's a chance for this round, not a good one. And that's kind of what I've chucked this entire game down to. There's a chance for a W here for Vdrxp, though it isn't the best of chances. He's hunting, he's going. Drop shot might be able to find it. He's prone and ready. Can't do anything with the blind pre-fire. Doesn't even ADS. Finally finds the kill. 20 seconds though. There's not much you can do.
20 seconds left, 5 HP, not a lot of options. Drop shot. Well, drop shot's dead, but look here, you got to funnel it through a single doorway.
Wait, they're both? Okay, no. I was going to try and push the narrative, but no.
No, there was no...
Okay.
Narrative.
That's just a shutdown. Fun fact, okay, that what do you call that gun again? The one Finka, the Finka AR, and the one the new operator has. It has a really good no scope.
I can't remember the gun's name now. Senses AR with the 50 round mag.
No,
not that one?
The defensive, the Kona station operator.
Not the spear, the other one.
Yeah, spear 3, right.
Oh,
yeah,
the spear,
there we go.
spear.
Yeah, it has an insanely good hip fire accuracy.
Does it? I've never actually...
No, it really does. Okay, this is one of my pet peeves in Siege, is hip fire accuracy. I don't know why it is, but I really like guns that have good hip fire accuracy. It just, it makes me happy.
My friend, have I got a game you would love?
Yes.
But we'll talk about it afterwards, because it's a different game.
Is it called Counter-Strike?
No, not that game.
Oh, okay.
But yes, that one too.
Fun fact, I use the scoped guns in Counter-Strike.
Oh,
I like the AUG.
Oh no. Okay. We'll just gloss over that extremely embarrassing fact and try to figure out where's Dropshot or Kaiko going to spawn peek from this round. Well, Dropshot, he's down below, so he's not going to be spawn peeking. He's actually AFK.
Yeah. Well, the reins have been handed over to Kaiko to go for the spawn peaks, because it seems in every single round there needs to be at least one spawn peak. SMG-12 at the ready, this gun's recoil kicks, but Sandals, the horse they rely on, might kick harder. Lurking. They haven't drawn
He's been misdroned.
Oh. No. Oh, Bio's grave has basically been... no? He's moved... the drone didn't spot him again! Finally it spots him. Okay, but from the side, Fish finds Alex as Rune answers back. 4-4 at least.
That was just unfortunate timing there for Sanders. Rune moved to reposition, gets a refrag onto a different player. Kaiko finds biometrics. So Kaiko, yes, not drop shot. Sandals, there was a bit of a misdroning situation going on, and there was potential to strike there. He got shut down. Kaiko comes on the flank. Bio's gone. Still got Haroon up and running though. He's one of the players we expect to be going big so far. He hasn't really had that much opportunity in the game, so maybe now's a good time. Especially with Swak being poised here to strike. If he can just get past Fish there.
It seems Dirt is one of the heavy reliance areas for Vdrxp. They always try and pressure through it, and for the first time, they won the gunfight. Tries to transfer onto the second, but he can't find it just yet. The verticals are still being opened up, but still hunting for players up top. Is this where you just say, screw the top players, we just go and pressure the site, because there's only one on the main bomb site?
Yeah.
What do they try to do?
The problem, well, right now, if I'm them, push the site, ignore the roamers, deal with the retake later on. Especially because the only roamer right now is Dropshot, but he's just going to waste all your time and kill and take your life if you take too long to try and deal with him. It's only figure on the site. If you rush him, you may be able to pull off something here, so it looks like that's going to be the plan. Haroon's just holding the flank here to stop, but Dropshot's just return to the site.
Oh, this feels like a deja vu moment. Dropshot and Figure on the main bomb site left to defend it. One coming from Dirt, one on the hatch. Hatch has fallen. The pistol again. Dropshot, what is this? He finds the headshot. It's 5-0 for Nixuh. They are just running away with Vdrxp's map pick.
So for the people that don't understand why I am of the opinion that Dropshot is one of the greatest players in the scene, now you're starting to see it. You're starting to see it.
You know, okay. I feel like for the last bit of time, there's been doubt about Dropshot, whether it be because he's on a team with Causa, or whether it be he just doesn't have the best show up. It seems Dropshot was always, for the first period when he came onto the scene, put on the pedestal, and that pedestal has been kind of knocked down a notch every single time. But you can't even debate it at this point. He is just shutting everyone down.
Yeah. He's just shutting everyone down. And it's a scary thought. A room we were hoping was going to be able to bring it back against his former teammates, some of his former teammates here, and be the little edge that Vdrxp needs, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Also, what is interesting to me is we've got a spinning Sandals on Clash.
He's spinning. He's going for it. You know, okay, I used to be a Clash player. Are you one of those people, if you've ever played Clash, I want your opinions in the comments. I up my sense when I play Clash, just so I can do the spinny spin and, you know, maybe shut some people down with it.
DPI just spinning.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always work, but when it does, you feel amazing.
When it works, it's one of the most entertaining things on earth to do, even though you can't really see what's happening, but still quite interesting that there's a Clash being played. Not an operator you commonly see the likes of Sandals of. He's quite known for his ability to get frags, especially entries on the attack. At defense, he does tend to slow down a little bit when he's not playing an operator like Valkyrie, but he's opted to go for the Clash here. Maybe feeling his aim isn't quite there yet, so he wants to contribute in other ways.
Yeah, I mean, you can always help your team in any way possible. There are operators in Siege where you can just stand behind a big shield, shock your opponent, and have them feel the damage. Figure though, the one clutch, the one player to rely on, he hasn't even died in this game, and he still might not because he's down but not out. The res comes through, and Figure still doesn't have a def on the board for this game, but bringing it back to that Clash. I just wanted to make a quick joke. I got shocked by a power outlet earlier today. Fun fact, I know what it feels like to get shocked. They are being slowed down. They are so heavy in their feet. A nade is going to try and sail on through to do some damage onto the Clash, but about 10 HP of damage, while 100 is dealt to Swak. Dropshot, you just cannot ever forget about him.
You can't forget about him. If you forget about him, he's going to jump out on you like he just did there. Bio, I think he's a bit scared here. He doesn't know what to do. Haroon and them, they found Sandals. There's a clash just chipping away at Haroon's damage and giving all the intel in the world that he needs, and there isn't really a way to deal with him. Especially since Kaiko's sitting up here and just shuts down Bio before he can do anything, and he does spot Haroon there in the corner of his eye.
There comes a moment in every Siege game where it's just difficult to watch, and this is one of them. I don't want to discredit Vdrxp at all, do not get me wrong, but when a team is just flawless beating a team with Clash on the board when they literally just cannot even get to the players, it's hard to watch. It's a 6-0 at that, and what is that? From Drop Shot? Like, I get it. We are simping for this man. But aren't you seeing this, Twitch chat? Are you not seeing this?
Yeah, people that complain that we simp. How can you not simp for this man?
Like, I understand the comment. I understand it gets tiring. But as a viewer, does this not excite you as well? Maybe if you're a Vdrxp fan, sure. But this man is a full KD in the playoff stage. In the highest competition SSA Super Series will give you. This isn't supposed to happen. This is Vdrxp's map pick. They are 6-0 right now. Vdrxp, if you want to turn this around, if you want to book your tickets for that LAN,
you gotta go flawless.
You gotta do something.
Yeah, you gotta do something. But the problem is that this is, and people are gonna hate on me and saying this. This is not me down talking Vdrxp, okay? Before people start saying I'm hating on Vdrxp. I love the Vdrxp roster. I think they're a very good roster. But I think this is the difference that you're seeing between a tier 1 team that aren't willing to lose and a team that hasn't quite yet knuckled down and gotten themselves into that tier 1 title, as we can say. In the scene, you know? In the region, you know?
Yeah, Vdrxp are definitely punching above their weight.
Yeah, I do think so. They're punching above their weight. They've done great so far punching above their weight during the tournament. But eventually there's going to come a time that you're going to find someone who's just a bit too heavy for you to be able to lay them out.
You might have the moves, you might have the stepping, but eventually sheer power will overpower. We said Vdrxp, they're a team that relies on strats, and as much as you, the ex-coach, me, the caster, want to put on a pedestal the importance of strategy in Siege, well, if you have a player going 12-3, if you have a figure who hasn't died in this game, I don't care what strategy you are employing, it's not gonna work. It's not working.
Yeah, it's so far the attacking strategy hasn't worked. Defensively, it looks like they've opted not to try and extend their own. They don't want to challenge and lose early deaths. They've decided, you know what we're gonna do? We're going to play it a bit more cautiously and sit down at the site. Let them waste their time droning out and just feed them utility to waste their time. It's more of an older meta to play, and it tends to be the better meta to play when you're in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
But the problem is going to be, in those last 20 seconds, you're really going to have to win those gunfights when you've got the likes of Dropshot and Sandal swinging you from 2 different angles.
That's where they've struggled. Maybe this is the chance to bring it back. It's their defensive side. But at some point, the collapse here is going to have to happen. And it is match point. One single round of wavering, of being unsure on where to peak on an unlucky gunfight, and that is the first map for Nixuh on Vdrxp's map pick. But Bio, if he can do anything to shut them down, he finds the first headshot, maybe that's the way to turn things around. Go for the gunfights, shut them down at every single avenue. This is where you start to mount the comeback, because this is where you have to mount the comeback.
Yeah, this is where you have to mount the comeback. Let's be honest, if they don't win this round, it's match point. Nixuh's on match point. Vdrxp cannot afford to lose this round. Dropshot of the board does help a bit, but you got Sandals busy doing a Sandal special of sneaking his way around, but he isn't aware. Is he aware? Well, he is now. Alex falls off the figure to find Haroon, but there's been a refrag and the kills are coming out everywhere. But with that being said, Misflick's the only man alive for his team here from Dirt. Let's get it down onto Sandals.
My head just swerved from left to right, seeing the kills pop off the board. It's Misflick in the clutch situation, a 1v2. His angle being held down. An SMG-11 is not what you want in this type of situation. At least he has 3 gas canisters, but just before there's a little bit of action period, this is Vdrxp's map pick. If there's one moment where you have to clutch it out, it is this. tries to go for the quick peek, tries to go for the gunfight, but shut down by Kaiko. It's an easy 7-0 for Nixuh, and that might write the rest of the story for this best of 3.
That is a scary, scary thing to see right there. And I think it just shows the reality of Nixuh as a team. We've been expecting Nixuh as a team to be the favorites for the tournament. We thought, yeah, if Vdrop can really cause an upset today, it'll be great. But right now, I'm doubting if Vdrop are even going to be able to get around.
Oh no, don't curse them like that. I think there is a chance still in Oregon, but they are gonna have to pick it up. And I believe we're gonna go to a quick break, or the next players are ready. We could just start the second map out. I believe Vdrop would want a little bit of a break period, so we're just waiting on confirmation. We're gonna keep you entertained for now, but just there might be a bit of a break period before we head into the second map.
Yeah, there might just be a bit of a break period. I have just actually received a clip of Dropship getting the one tap, but I'm just confirming whether or not we're actually allowed to put it on. It's still downloading because, as well, there are team comms in there, so I want to check at them if they're fine, if we maybe mute it or what happens with that.
Could you DM me that at the very least?
I will send it through once I actually have heard from the players in Nixuh of whether or not we're allowed to send that. Maybe we can send it, Aldo, if you'd be willing, if I can just find out from them to put it on the actual Twitter so everyone can see the clip.
Is it Twitter worthy?
It should be. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for its download. It's a 3 gig file.
Oh yikes! Okay, why is it 3 gigs?
It's a 3-minute clip.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would not put it past Dropshot to just like send you something random, like not the kill, just like a video from like the Big Lair show or something. Okay, well, I believe we're gonna head to a break period. We haven't had confirmation from the second team, so
yeah,
yeah,
we should be heading to a break period then. Yeah, we're having a break period. Don't go anywhere. It's been entertaining so far. Enjoy it. Enjoy the little break, and we'll be back for some more great gameplay.
We're back. We have some info to go over before map 2, which should be a very interesting one. If you're just joining us, it was a quick 7-0 for Nixuh over Vdrop on Vdrop's map pick of Clubhouse. We can go over the stats quick if you're ready, Mr. Simp. I think this was a decisive game.
Yeah, I think kind of the scoreboard at the end of that game kind of just says it all. Is that 12 I'm seeing there? Yeah, 12 kills there for drop shot, only 4 deaths.
Only one
It
death
kind
for
of
Figure.
says it all. Yeah, only a single death for Figure. It kind of says it all how that game went. It is not that Vdrop were doing anything wrong. They were doing the basics. It's just they couldn't find any kills is the only way I can describe what went wrong for them at the game. And looking into Oregon, which is Nix's map pick, I'm even more scared of them now.
Yeah, I'm scared. There's no other way to put it. I think this should be a lockout from Nixuh. I think this should be an early game and a chance for some people in the community to watch an F1 race. Yeah, I don't want to be like negative about it. It's just from what we've seen and looking forward, it's not looking good. Now, I believe we have all of the players ready and in the lobby to head on to Oregon if we can get that. I'm just waiting for a confirmation from the producer, but we're going to Oregon. It is it's what Nix's map pick, and if it goes all the way, it's theme park. But as it's looking right now, Oregon should be the graveyard of Vdrop.
Yeah, Vdrop are really gonna have to claw something out, pull something out here, pull a little card from under their sleeves that we don't know they have. I'm really hoping it goes to theme park, but how Clubhouse ended, I just can't see it ending on any other way on Oregon, where realistically, it plays very much to a similar meta as what you get out of Clubhouse.
It really does, yeah.
So you're going to have the exact same problems there, the exact same situation of every time you peek something, you're either going to have Dropshot or Sandals or Kaiko or one of those players in Nixuh peeking you there. And it's not going to be fun trying to win that gunfight. So it's really Vdrop going to have to figure out how can they do this, because trade for trade isn't going to work here. They're really going to have to find a way to kill the player without taking the gunfight directly. So it's going to take a lot of synergy to be able to do that. Not impossible, but it's some difficult work to get it done.
I think we're ready to head on into the game. Oregon, here we come. Now, before we just start talking about the ban phase, I do want to mention that I think at the very least, Oregon is a map where you can play around with it more, where there is a lot more room for experimentation than Clubhouse, which has been strategized to death, where every team knows almost everything you can throw at them. Oregon, to a certain degree, is the same, but I feel like there is at least that tiny bit of room for experimentation.
Yeah, there's a tiny bit of room for experimentation, but it still caters very much to a similar meta, a similar play style. It caters to similar teams. Teams that tend to be good on Oregon tend to be good on Clubhouse and vice versa. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. Maverick being the first ban, kind of expected for Oregon. It's one of the maps where you kind of do need to get those walls open, and Thatcher being off the board as well, that's going to make it very difficult for Nixuh now. Well, more difficult for Nixuh.
It's kind of a knock towards the attackers, because what do you have now if there is, say, an Ottila Electroclaw on the wall? You don't have a Thatcher, you don't have a Maverick. You kind of have to brute force it. Let's see what these defensive bans bring out. The Mirror will be the first, and it frees up a ban spot for Vdrop, but at the very least, most of the walls on Oregon you can open up by just kind of cheesing a Thermite Exothermic, so we might see some play with that. Cade being bad allows for at least something better from the attacking side, but just rounding it out on that ban phase, Nixuh is starting on the attack. Do you think we're going to see another 6-0? I don't want to curse it. I don't want to say anything yet, but do you think that momentum is going to come?
I think that momentum is going to come, because they're feeling confident after that, and the players on Vdrop are kind of, I can tell you now, they're sitting there and they're kind of sitting like, okay, what do we do? Because we just got run over and we don't know how to change anything. Because reality is, there isn't anything they can really change. They did their basics right. They did everything right. It was purely just the gunfights that they were losing it. And if it's one of those days when you can't win your gunfights, unfortunately, there's not a huge amount you can do about that between two matches, especially when there's only been like 10-minute break.
To be fair, one of the big helping hands for Vdrop is they're starting on defense, because we've only seen one defensive round coming out from Vdrop. So that might be what they need to change things around. I hope and pray it is what they need to turn things around, but the proof will be in the pudding. We'll see how this first half of Oregon commences.
Yeah, the proof will be in the pudding, as you said. Starting with the defense will help them a little bit, I agree with you. But it's still going to be a thing of, especially now that I do think the walls, especially on the basement here, Maverick being gone and Thatcher being gone, kind of means those walls are going to be more difficult to get open. So it's going to be a lot more of a gunfight-oriented way to get in. So maybe Vdrop will plan this out. It would make sense because you can hold a lot more crossfires on those doors. But Vdrop have opted to actually go for quite an extended roam. They have two players on the mid floor and a player on the top floor, and it pays its dividends with SWAT getting an early kill onto Fish.
And they've got an interesting setup here towards the middle area of the map. For the life of me, I've forgotten the area now. But they've set up some keeper barricades in very interesting positions. Observe, if you can quickly pan over to that, the attack is coming. They're trying to put pressure onto this, but they have so many things to rely on up here. They've got the keeper barricades set up on the main rotation from kitchen into waiting room. And Swak's already started it off. He's hunting for a second. No drones have come just yet, but Nixuh at least, they seem a bit slower.
Yeah, they seem a little bit slower here. It's not that same momentum. Maybe they're feeling a little bit under pressure because of that early kill, and maybe I think it's because those drones are dying. They've lost quite a few drones. Both of Kaiko's drones are dead. Fish obviously can't really put his drones up into the map anymore. There's only 3 rotatable drones on the board right now, and they've still got a lot of roamers to try and figure out where they are and deal with them, and they're kind of going to have to be face-checking the angles to try and get rid of them.
Ooh. Alex feeling the pressure up top, waltzing around these angles. Haroon to follow up in a system in following back on this roam, but we're shooting them down with nothing to find. This feels like the Vdrop attack all over again, except this time it's Nixuh struggling on the attack. Vdrop have snaked on past, slipped through their fingers like water flowing down. Mr. Flick on site has lost his life, and the smoke canisters to boot. Alex taking some damage. Nixuh now are starting to pressure onto the main bomb site, but there's still so much they need to deal with.
Yeah, there's still a lot to deal with here. Alex, low HP here. He's going to be playing the fight for his life here. Haroon has made his way back down the back stairs there, but Sandals, he's finding a territory. He's doing a little bit of work here, just checking that corner with the nade. It's a sneaky corner that a lot of players like to play in, but since there's no one there, if he can just get past the person playing there with an electrical, he finds Bio, which means he's going to actually have free reign to try and get himself in here. Drop shot finds another with the cross.
Oh, it seems Vdrop again will falter to the same issue. Though, not if the keeper barricade can say anything. They've been set up in such interesting positions, but in the end, they aren't enough. Again, strategic play. Oh, so good, but Nixuh, they just force their way in. They just walk in, find kills, get around. And it's the same poem sung again. It's hard for me to stay positive about a team that falls to the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, for me, the problem that they've got right now is they did it all right. Every part of it was right until that last 20 seconds. Vdrop, they started off well. They got the entry pick. They managed to not get refragged off that entry. They wasted a lot of time. They managed to get themselves back to the site. They had a strong setup on the site. And then yet it's all fell apart the moment Nixuh said, "Aight, cool, we're going to start killing you now."
Just as a tiny bit of an aside, the Twitch poll has ended, and there are 43,400 channel points on Nixuh with a 1-to-1 return.
One-for-one return.
1-to-1, because there are 60 channel points on Vdrop, of which I have contributed 10. If Vdrop win this map, I will get a 1-to-725 return on my 10 channel points.
Okay. That's a lot of channel points.
So yeah, just in the air of transparency, I have put 10 channel points on Vdrop. I really hope they can claw this back, but I don't think it is too likely. Sandals will start the ingress onto the double window. Huron Kids, the pressure already being felt. Figure from the side, from the bottom of White Stairs, will put pressure with that oh so scary LMG as well. He has nades to sail on through to the roof area if they want to use those up nades to clear any defending players who are still holding on to that main bomb site. It seems Fish will start the opener on getting into the map. If he's not ready, Alex might be shut down very quickly here. But no, he transfers it. He finds Kaiko. Now he's ready for the second. Tries to go for the duel, but it's more of just saber rattling for the time being.
Yeah, just a bit of saber rattling there, as you said. But again, Vdrop is starting it well. They've got the entry kill that they need. He hasn't been refragged, and he's still wasting time. They are somewhat aware of his position, but they aren't entirely sure. So it's wasting a lot of their time. And again, it's the same thing from Nixuh here. They've got very limited drones, but nade comes out. Oh, misflick. Left with a slither of HP there, but still gets away with his life. And as I say that, he dies.
On a blinking health bar, it seemed even the flames were enough to shut him down, but no, a gun will find it. Figure making his way up the main stairs, it seems he was thinking there's a presence there, but from the side he gets shut down. Now it's just Swak and Arun holding onto the bomb site with no real pressure just yet, because all of these kills, all of these gunfights have happened off site. Now, Nixuh need to transfer this and at least try to get onto the main bomb site.
Yeah, they're gonna have to make something big come out here. Sandals takes a huge amount of HP loss there, so he's really gonna be able to do the aggressive push here. But drop shot pushing his way up the stairs gets down into Haroon. It's gonna be all down to Swak, but drop shot. Ooh, equal trade in HP. I mean, the drop shot's been down, but Fish swings off, he sees drop shot get downed, protects the life of his buddy, gets the final kill. Swak not going to be able to get around as the board for his team. Nixuh sitting 2-0. That is actually now 9 rounds in a row.
Oh, when you say it like that, the pain is felt. It is felt. Vdrop. How? Okay. As a new team, a quote-unquote new team, because... No, not even. I mean, these guys are more experienced than Nixuh. I just mean in the air of they don't have the experience playing on this type of a stage. They've played big games in the past. They've made it through tournaments, into playoff stages, whatever it may be, quarterfinals, semifinals. But they haven't had this much to play for. And when you're a team that doesn't have as much experience, when you're face down, having lost 9 rounds in a row, with the potential of a LAN ticket booked, it's gonna start to weigh down on you. It just has to.
Yeah, the pressure's going to bear down on you, especially when you've got Nixuh playing the way they are right now. This is Nixuh at what we would expect to see out of a team like Nixuh, a team where they're saying, okay, we don't want to risk not getting to the LAN at all, so let's go flat out for this match and just guarantee ourselves that spot at the LAN.
Yeah, they're not playing.
We have seen games where Nixuh, not just Nixuh, this roster, but previous iterations of their previous rosters and stuff like that, where they, against arguably easier teams to play than Vdrop, lose more rounds, and that's more just because they don't have that same sense of them of, oh, this is really critical, we can't afford to lose stuff here, so if we drop a single round, that's already a mistake. But Fish starting it off, getting the kill into Swak, not start that Vdrop wanted.
But at the same time, it feels like they're just gonna run and gun and have a bit of fun. The nade shuts him down, a second to follow, 3 kills on the board. Their graves are being dug before they're even dead. It's just a rune to claw it back within the span of about 10 seconds. All of his teammates have gone down 6 under. Now has to follow on through down to the below area himself, but that's to the grave, not to the site, because he can't even go down the stairs.
Couldn't even get down the stairs, he just sat there. To me, what was really interesting about that is Haroon ended up in a retake situation with an entire attacker team just staring at him there.
3 players were just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, it was like a complete role reversal. They were stopping him from getting to the site.
Oh no, yeah, literally, I want to go back and time that. We have the delay from the Twitch stream, but I think that literally happened within like 5 to 6 seconds. Everyone just dead.
Yeah. Not a pretty sight, not a comfortable sight. And now, when Ubisoft decides to let the Siege game load, you will be sitting here with thank you Aldo, for showing us the scoreboard. It allows me to further iterate this point. 3-0 up, attacker half. This is Oregon. It's a more 50-50 map, so a 3-3 split or a 4-2 split for the defenders is kind of what you'd expect. If they don't get at least 3 rounds of their defense, Vdrxp are going to be in a world of hurt going into that other half. Hell, I think they're in a world of hurt already now.
Yeah. Just bring it back to what you said earlier. When you think about this on a macro scale, 10 rounds lost in a row without a single pickup.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let that sit.
They're hurting right now. I think Bio, he hasn't got a kill yet this game. In the previous match, the map, he found a single kill, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure how the scoreboard, I can't remember, but I do think he only had 1, maybe 2 kills at the end of the previous map. So that just speaks dividends and tells us everything about how it's looking right now. And Vdrxp are in a world of hurt. I'm telling you now, their mentality in there, in that, well, we have to wait for Ubisoft to finish doing whatever they're busy doing.
I feel like we just need to. Okay, there we go. We don't know. Oh no, that's
no. It's just Ubisoft doing. It's just Ubisoft doing their things again. Just leave it be. But I'm telling you now, their mentalities in there are. They're talking. They're trying to figure out what they can do in the comms, but in their heads, all of them are in mentality like, I can't get kills. How do I kill them? I can't. Every time I swing something, I just get killed. What am I meant to do? And it's that just going to further weaken the situation and make it also more difficult for them.
Yeah, I've been in that mindset, whether it be through ranked games or comp games, where nothing goes your way, and it's tough. It really is. Even if you haven't felt that in a Siege game, you felt that in real life. We all have those days, those moments when you're like, man, just everything isn't going my way. It feels you're stuck in a rut. You can't get out of it. How do you get out of it? It's difficult. And sometimes you need to, I don't know, just take a step back and reset. But I don't think that reset is coming quick enough. I just don't know how to change this for Vdrxp, because they are the underdogs. They are the team that needs to punch above their weight. But when you are the underdog, a comeback is a lot harder for you. And I just want to give a quick update. It seems there was an observer issue with the game. We're going to try and reload the lobby. I don't know if we're going to go to a quick pause before that. Yes, I believe we're going to go to a tech pause timeout, just quick on the stream as well, just to give us a bit of a break before we set up the lobby, just to free up the observer as well. But when we return, I just hope we can see a better Vdrxp.
I hope we can see a bit better Vdrxp, because until now, this has not been the roster that we've been expecting to see, the roster that everyone wanted to see. Hell, over half of the community that voted on that social poll said, yeah, Vdrxp are in a good position to take this. So where's the Vdrxp we've been wanting to see so far? Because this isn't what we've been seeing from them in past tournaments and scrims. Yeah,
so I believe, producer, if you can just quickly throw it to a break screen just to set everything up. We'll be back to your screen shortly. Don't go anywhere.
And we're back.
Yep. It's here. It's on your screen. It's Vdrop having to mount a comeback. That is the storyline. That is what you need to know. Nixuh have taken 10 rounds in a row. If you're just joining us, map 1 was a quick and easy 7-0. Vdrop are in the gutter, in the doldrums. There needs to happen. There needs to happen something from the side of Vdrop.
Yeah.
The onus is on them. The expectation is there.
Something needs to happen. Oh, for a second I thought we were stuck on the same problem again. I would have been very, very mad at Ubisoft. But no, Ubisoft redeemed themselves on that one. But yeah, it's a lot of work. Obviously the scoreboard has been clean in terms of the KDs and the assists, but here's the rundown. The players on Nixuh are pretty much just slaughtering the Vdrop players every time they walk. They try to look at me.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty good description of it.
For the first round and kind of the second, at least, it felt like Nixuh were struggling to find map presence, actually find kills, where the Vdrop players were just kind of falling back, lurking, waiting. But eventually Nixuh just shut them down. It just came down to gunplay, it came down to pure aggression, and when that is the factor at play, Nixuh will 9 times out of 10, or in this game at least 10 times out of 10 so far, show you how it's done.
Yeah. 10 times out of 10, they will show you how it's done. One thing they won't show you, though, is best drone work, because they keep dying on the drones, but Sandals saw the aggression they're coming from, and Alex, and he does get the early kill. The Sandals, and Bio finds drop shot. Looks like the players of Vdrop have woken up a little bit here.
This is what you have to do. You have to force Nixuh into areas where they don't want to be. Kaiko with an answer back will be the tiny hope given to them. Nixuh can still turn this around, don't get it wrong. Figure, though, getting downed, getting taken away. This might be Vdrop's first round.
This could potentially be, but don't count Kaiko and Fish out. Never mind, don't count Kaiko out. Just as I said it, man. But yeah,
well,
don't count Kaiko out. The man's got a lot of potential, he's got a lot of fragging power. It's just a question of what can he do. He's got to find 4 players of Vdrop. He's got 1 minute and 45 seconds to make it work, though.
The Type 89 hits hard, but it at max only has 21 rounds in its magazine. Right now it only has 19, make that 18. He tries to find the gunfight, but Alex shuts him down, and that's a second coming for Vdrop, an awakening. Something we've wanted for so long. Finally, this is where it starts. I hope and pray this is where it starts.
Yeah, hope and pray this is where it starts. Let it not be a fluke. Please let it not be a fluke. I'm happy to see that Vdrop have finally got a round. They've ended the 10-round slaughter. Now they just got to find a way to bring it back and not just let it be a one-time thing.
Yeah, that's always the fear, is that it maybe was a fluke. Sometimes that happens in Siege, where you just get lucky off some early picks, and maybe that is what happened. But I think, at least, Vdrop showed face in that round.
Yeah,
they showed.
Yeah, they showed they can get the kills. It wasn't like they were relying on Haroon being the former well-known player in the top teams. Yeah, I think they were relying on him. Who was the other players? Alex doing well to get that entry. Bio finally looking like he's woken up, because, not to hate on Bio, but he has been a little bit slow so far during the match in terms of getting his skills. So good to see that he's woken up. He got an all-important kill into drop shot, and it made that Nixuh just couldn't really do anything. They took a small part of the map and just couldn't push from there.
All 3 corner stations stacked up. If any player on Vdrop takes even the tiniest bit of damage, they just go to the base station and get pumped back up with all the energy they might need. Well, I want to highlight again, Vdrop previously, when they were defending down below, they had this interesting upstairs roam strategy where they would use keeper barricades in very interesting positions. They've utilized this again. They're defending in the middle floor, but they're holding up top with very interesting keeper barricades again.
Yeah, they're holding up top, but it looks like Dropshot's actually going to come up behind someone there, and he does come up behind Alex. Finds Alex's Sandals and just crouches, walk his way right into the site.
They're on site with no pressure, no presence from Vdrop. falling by the wayside. It's just Haroon. You can't let this happen. After your first round put on the board, it is a flawless again for Nixuh. It seems that one round of Nixuh faltering has activated them.
I'm so confused how Sandals was allowed to just crouch walk his way in through the site.
Split the rotation hole onto site.
Yeah, I agree with that rotation hole. It's a good rotation hole to have. I made many strats back in the day that have it, especially if you're playing that site, you kind of need it. But why was he allowed to walk through there? There's a deployable shield there. You should have someone at least watching that if they're not actively playing there. How was he allowed to just crouch his way in there?
Sometimes, and I'm not saying this is the case with Vdrxp, I see teams that call themselves the front runners of strategy of whatever, kind of falter when it comes to the implementation of said strategies, where they over theory craft, where they say, okay, we put a player here, da da da, ya ya ya, yappa yappa yap, whatever. Okay, cool, you've got a strategy. Sometimes there are just holes and scenarios that you genuinely cannot account for almost ever. Like, and I think that was one of them. I think that was Nixuh reading into it very well at that and just saying, oh, you've got an open area. Okay, we're going to exploit that and we're going to get a flawless round.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's it in its entirety. I think you said it perfectly there. So I don't know. They're gonna have to do something because so far we haven't been seeing them mess up the basics. They've been losing out on the kills, but then suddenly when they found the kills, they started messing up the basics. Now they're losing it on the kills. Then with Fish getting the opener onto Swak and Sandals busy walking his way in.
Yep, down on the main stairs, putting pressure onto the bomb site already. Well, let's flick. Here's 2 canisters left. Already expended 1 within the first 30 seconds of a round. That is not what you ever want to see. You want to keep those smoke gas canisters till late on to deny a plant, to hold out for time. But right now, it's holding out in a desperate attempt to clutch onto the dying embers of a round, of a game that Vdrxp is poised to lose. They just nail them through with a few bullets, the smoke at the ready, at the close. A nade will sail through, find the kill. Bio, though, has a chance to clutch it.
Yeah, Bio. We saw him wake up a little bit and getting killed early onto drop shot. Now he's gonna have to clutch this up now. It's a 1v2, but he gets caught sprinting at the wrong time. Not able to react to Kaiko swinging, holding the door here. Ugh, I know that I sound like a broken record player here, but Vdrxp, man, come on, you're gonna do something.
It's difficult.
It's like that meme where you're like poking with a stick and like, come on, do something.
I know. Yeah, it just kind of feels like that. And I think, I don't want to say this is happening. I think them going onto the attacking side will be the nail in the coffin. Sometimes a round switch is what you need. It helps you so much. But think back to Clubhouse. 6 losses in a row on your attacking side. It's tough.
It's tough. They broke the streak for a single round, and then from there they just started making mistakes again. It's almost like as if it wasn't them really winning the round, and Nixuh more just losing their momentum for some reason for a singular round. But with that, it's gone to a side swap now. Vdrxp have got a single round of breathing room for themselves.
I think as well, when you think back to that one round Vdrxp won, I mentioned it kind of in passing as a joke because it seemed Nixuh were woken up after that round where they got a flawless one. But I genuinely think that is the case. We said Nixuh going into this are fierce, are fiery, whatever. But no matter how ready and how big the stakes are, when you have a lead like that, it tends to get sloppy. Right now, I think it's sloppy again because what in God's name is Sandals doing?
Sandals is just trying to be in a complete irritation, I think, especially with the alibi prisoner busy sitting in the spawn. It's going to make it extremely difficult for them to figure out what's going on. Sandals in the clash, not an operator you typically see coming out of his map pool, but it has its effects. And
this is the type of thing you
exactly
see
what the play in, but Fish doesn't need the intel.
I am Silver 5 right now, and I don't even see these types of quote-unquote brain-dead strategies, because Fish is just nailing them through with the bullets. You can't let that happen. A clash outside, shutting you down, a player inside, whipping you from the side. What is this? A double for Miss Flick. There's a chance to claw this back. The Clash finally loses her life. But what am I seeing? What is on my screen?
There's an old favorite match of mine that you'll remember back from the OG days.
Oh no.
Of Dropshot on, well, not Dropshot, but OG on Consulate against Runshark.
Yes.
I feel like it's very much that situation that we're watching.
Just for the audience, explain what you are referencing.
So, I feel like I'm doing it more for you than the audience.
Why?
But I don't know. I feel like you're pretending to remember it, but we'll glance over that. But yeah, for the audience, basically it was a match where essentially what happened is Dropshot really woke up, and not just Dropshot, but all the other members of OG woke up. And what you started seeing was essentially Runshark weren't allowed to even get in the map, because every time they looked at a player from OG, particularly normally there would be Dropshot or Sandals who they would look at first, they would just get shot in the head. It was like they weren't reacting, and eventually it turned into Dropshot just starting to one-tap people through walls.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that VOD is still on my channel if anyone wants to go back to it.
Yeah,
but
it's somewhere, and it was a very entertaining game to watch. The first map as well was a lot more tight. It was a best of 3, that matchup, I think, if I remember correctly.
yes.
Yeah, that was the final map in the matchup, and that's kind of what we're seeing out of Nixuh here. It's kind of them saying, because we saw that at Fish there, it was as if the Vanguard players were just, well, not Vanguard, whoa, my apologies, Vdrop, please don't hate me. The Vdrop players were just looking at him.
Yeah, so I think it is a case of just pure outplaying, because look what they're doing. They're going for it again. The Clash has used her barbed wire on the table down below. I think Nixuh are fed up and wanting to end this. I think Vdrop are tired. He shuts down Bio on a spawn peak, and it's just pain at this point, man. Figure complaining about his team. Why complain when it's working? Like, it's just working. Like, this isn't supposed to work, but it is.
It's working, and there's no other way to describe it. It's not a pretty siege to watch. It's a siege that's very painful to play against, and it's a siege that's very painful to watch. But it's the reality of what happens when a team just starts dominating this way.
Hunting for more. The Clash is on the outside. Drop shot swinging for a second. But remember what is on stake. This is match point on a game 2 of a best of 3, with tickets to a LAN being the potential to win.
Yeah.
Nixuh are playing like this is a cash cup with 100 rand on the line.
That is a good way to describe it, and it is working. And oh, Sandals does fall though, so maybe Haroon trying to bring it back. Vdrop do need to get 5 rounds in a row here just to be able to get that overtime. We did see that happen yesterday though. But Kaiko is still up, Figure is still up. We saw Figure only die a single time on the first map, so he's looking to close it out for his team players. Haroon looks to peek in there. Oh, siege timing. This is a little bit.
He dances across the gunfights, the avenues, the angles, all not just going their way. Kaiko left on the diffuser at that. A silencer on the MK14. Name a better duo than Nixuh and going to a LAN in a style that I can only describe as a casual game, playing as recruits. It's a 7-1, 7-0 victory for Nixuh. They book their tickets to the LAN in what is the weirdest game of Siege I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that has been an extremely dominant game from Nixuh, and reality is they're at the LAN. It's not what we were expecting out of Vdrop that though. The whole community thought Vdrop had a really good chance here of maybe causing a major upset. It just didn't happen. And congrats to Nixuh, you're going to the LAN. You're going to the first LAN that SSA just had in an extremely long time.
It's celebration. It's every positive adjective for Nixuh right now. They're feeling themselves. They're feeling happy, and as well, congratulations to quite literally every person in Twitch chat except me who put channel points on Nixuh. I feel like I'm one of two people, quite literally, that put channel points on Vdrxp. So, congrats on your 1-to-1 return of channel points on Nixuh. Yeah, everyone expected it, and it happened. We just didn't expect the way it would happen.
Yeah. But with that being said, I've done a little bit of speaking with my inside sources, and we've got Kaiko here for an interview. You ready for him?
Yeah, drag him on
Let's
in.
bring him in. Hello, Kaiko. How are you feeling?
Good in yourself.
I'm feeling great. So, tell me, I know it was a bit of a washover of a game there. Completely dominant from you guys. Well played. How does it feel to be going to a LAN? Your first LAN, I believe, as well, that you'll actually be playing at.
It feels good, eh?
Yeah?
No,
Stone
I'm
cold.
excited. I'm excited.
And tell me, some more that I want to know. We didn't get to stream too many of your games throughout the group stages and throughout the whole tournament as a whole. How would you say the team has been meshing so far? Obviously, Nixuh, you guys have been together for a little while, but this is the first big tournament that the scene's actually had in a long time. So, how do you feel the atmosphere is in the team at the moment about and the attitude towards finalizing the LAN and trying to go all the way for the win?
Well, this is only my second game of the tournament. I've been away, but I've been watching the boys playing Discord. Nah, the vibes are up, eh? But yeah, we're just taking this. We're having a fun time. Yeah, just playing our game.
Okay.
You sound like someone that just came from a Saturday morning surf session at the beach, not someone who just played an incredible game and shut down a Team 7071 to book their tickets at LAN.
Nah, the
I'm
vibes
not
are
criticizing you. I'm just saying your voice tone speaks volumes.
No, we're just having fun there. We just now we enjoy each other's company. We just have fun, and it works out in the end always.
That's awesome to hear. One other thing I want to ask. Okay, so the whole community. I don't know if did you see the community vote, Kaiko?
Yes, I did.
What do you have to say to all the people who thought Vdrxp actually had a chance of winning today?
I mean, when I came to the voting on the Twitch channel, when points were on the line, I think we had the most votes.
Yeah, but I'm talking the Twitter one, the Twitter poll, because that's the one people really care about.
I don't know. People are against us. It's always been like that. You, as my old coach, you know that.
Yeah, that
we
is
haven't
true.
really had the community voting for us ever. But in the
Yeah.
end, we always seem to come up top. So
No, that's a good way to put it. And I like the confidence. Well done to you and the whole team there. Saw some great clips, not only out of Dropshot, but from the whole team. We saw absolutely epic gameplay. And I actually really thoroughly enjoyed watching you guys play. And congrats on the LAN.
thank you very much.
Yeah, I feel like there
believe,
isn't
yeah.
too much to break down on that game. Most of it just came down to, well, last few minutes, gunfights go pew. You said the vibes were there. That's probably what brought you across the line. But I just want to ask about those last two rounds with the clash going on a bit of a walkabout in the park. What was up with that?
No, Sanos just trolling, eh? Sanos was
Fair
bored.
enough.
So he was like, "No, I'm just gonna go clash." We tried to put the DP on 25k and him spin, but didn't work out.
Oh, well.
But
It worked,
yeah.
and it booked your ticket to the LAN, so GG's well played to everyone on Nixuh. To everyone watching, thank you so much. And Kaiko, any final words before you head off?
Just play easy, really. That's all I have to say.
That's all you have to say.
That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hope you guys have a
Thank
good
you very much,
rest of
Kaiko.
Sunday. Cheers.
See you guys. Cheers.
Well
Yeah.
then, Justin, what a game.
With that, yeah, what a game. Entertaining match, but that's not the only match that we have for you guys today. For all the people that are joining here else on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We'll be back a little bit later on with Boolin versus Memphis. Should be an interesting game. Memphis are a team that we didn't really think we're actually going to get through to group stages, but they're here. They're not sure how they're here, but they're here, and they're here in the playoffs.
Yeah, action coming to your screen later today. Load shedding has given us a chance, so don't go anywhere. Can we confirm what time that is? Are we still following the schedule? Just producer, if we can just... I'd assume it's still... Okay, it's still on at 7, so I don't know if the Twitch stream is going to run till then, but just same place, same thing, 7 p.m, be back.
Cheers. Thanks for you, everybody. See you then.
Cheers.
Bye.